Diablo 4 feedback. 8 full pages of suggestions. All right, let's go.
I just got done blasting the Diablo 4 beta, and I have compiled all of my feedback along with Twitch chat. They have been helping me for 2 straight days, and we have this 8-page document that I'd like to go over with you. It's not going to take all that long.
It's lit. Let's go.
I could sit here for 10 straight hours and explain it to you, but a lot of people have been asking me, Rax, what is your feedback? You played Diablo 3 for 10 million years.
Some context behind Rax. He's one of the main contributors for Max Roll. It's a build guide website, and it also like features other types of resources for, you know, building characters, playing the game. He was a really big guy. Sad to say, he tried to give an honest chance to Diablo Immortal. That ended whenever he played PvP, and he got queued up against probably either Rich or JT, and got a bit of a reality check. So before that, he played a lot of Diablo 3. This guy's a big fan of Diablo, really likes the game, and very passionate about it. Yeah, he got sucked up. He got ate by a whale, and the whale didn't even know that it ate him. Like, it didn't even know what happened. It was like a ricochet attack from like an auto attack proc from a legendary that has like $8,000 of resources invested into it.
Played Diablo 2 for 10 million years. Played a lot of WoW.
Yep.
I've been in other testing phases of Diablo 4.
Yep.
And so I'm going to go through and I'm going to tell you what I thought Blizzard has done really well so far. What they need to look at that requires attention is needs to be fixed, in my opinion. Nice to haves would be some importance, you know, some quality of life stuff that we could get in Diablo 4, but it's not mandatory. And finally, some philosophical questions for Blizzard about the game that I would love to hear their input on.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Like the one time that like fucking like I don't remember which guy it was. I think it was Joe on the Diablo 4 team. Goes is like. Players don't like having to run back to an empty dungeon to go collect a key. So we're working on a solution to make mobs respawn. It's like, Joe. You missed the point. Bro, oh, you're so close. Oh, he's so close, isn't he?
So the beta was live for 75 hours. I played 62 hours of it, and I had 6 level 25 characters in hardcore and softcore. I killed a Shava all 4 times. So I played Fire Sorcerer. I played Lightning Sorcerer. Of course, I played the Hydra stuff. I played
smart.
A Barrage Rogue, Flurry Rogue, Twisted Blades Rogue. I played.
No, this guy's the real deal. Like, if you care about like theory crafting and like serious fucking. Like neckbeard gaming, like this guy's the guy. He knows what he's talking about.
Thorns Barb, I played Upheaval Barb, and previously I played a lot of other specs, so I've seen a lot of it. Anyway, let's just get into it. So what has Blizzard done well in Diablo 4? The first thing I think that really nobody can complain about is the combat. It's very smooth, it has an incredible engine, you can fight really well. You just feel like you have complete control, and you can't ask for more than that.
I'd like to follow that up and say I agree. I do think that there are some issues, like for example that one NPC that Zizrain used as an example, where he's just like you can't really see him because he's like wearing black and it's a brown background and the whole thing is dark. And then there's like other dark things happening, and then like he shoots bats at you, and the animation for it isn't very well telegraphed, so it'll just instantly kill you. I do think combat on a functional level is S tier. I will even say Diablo Immortal had great combat. It did. I thought it was totally fine. Whenever it wasn't latency based, the combat for Diablo Immortal was totally fucking good. And you know what? If you go back to Diablo 3, the Diablo 3 combat is still fucking good. So yeah, I absolutely would say that. 100 fucking %, man. It honestly did. Pay to win wasn't in it. Yep, I thought so. I thought the combat for it was great. It was good in Diablo Immortal. It was good in Diablo 3. And I played a little bit of Diablo 2 Resurrected. We're going to finish the whole playthrough after probably this whole beta thing and, you know, a couple other things maybe. But Diablo 2 combat was great too. Blizzard, I mean, World of Warcraft Classic WoW was made in 2004. And I feel like in some ways, like, Warcraft has gone backwards in terms of how combat feels. Like, you play Classic WoW, that shit's snappy as fuck. Blizzard is good at some things. And one of those things is combat, game feel, and responsiveness. They're really good at that. And it feels fucking great.
The movement is really good. The force moving, teleporting, you know, there's a little bit of bugs where there's like invisible walls and sometimes you leave and it doesn't work. Things like that. But overall, moving around feels quite well, or quite good, excuse me. Another problem is that a lot of things can't be bound to scroll wheel, and I know that's a huge problem. A lot of people use it. I wanted to use it for evade. Some people want to use it for force move. That has to be fixed, but moving around is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also think they need to add WASD movement. It's a superior movement, and if it's not, then what's the problem adding it?
In my opinion, played a lot of video games. I think the complete sound package, the movement, the monsters, the gold dropping, the ambient noise is one of the
legendary sound sounds really good. All of the sounds in Diablo 4 are somehow, to me, even more appealing than watching Train's stream. Like, I'm telling you, bro, like, it feels good.
Sound packages for any game ever. I just think it's incredible. You have some nice headphones, plug them in, turn up the volume, and play the game. It's an experience. They did an incredible job there. I think the graphics are really, really good. There aren't many ARPGs out there, in my opinion, that look better than Diablo 4.
I don't know. Like, I haven't played Last Epoch. I plan on it. I just haven't played it yet. I think that there might be games that look as good as Diablo 4, but I feel like Diablo 4's graphics for an ARPG, for what it is, it's hard to get better than that.
It's a bit of a performance issue, though. I have a 3080 graphics card, and it just absolutely torches it. So I was streaming actually on the lowest settings, because when you play that many hours...
See, like, to me, if I set my fucking computer on fire, I get a new computer. I don't even know, like, there's like a thermometer, but like the angle of the PC, I can't really look at it. If I burn the bitch up, look, that's natural selection. I can't speak to this.
I thought my computer was literally going to explode. So there needs to be some optimizations before it goes live. Otherwise, we're going to see a lot of graphics cards in the graveyard.
Yeah, there were other people saying that I thought they did. By the way, there were other people that had 3080s, I believe, that had problems with Diablo 4. I have a 2080 Ti, and I had relatively no problems with the game. So I don't really think there's a lot wrong with the game. It could be a graphics card issue. Also, NVIDIA put out a driver fix for Diablo 4 yesterday, so that could also change things. If I'm having problems today, I will download that driver update as well.
Well, with is treasure goblins, and the reason why is treasure goblins in the previous iteration were really quite meaningless. They appeared everywhere. They don't really drop you stuff that's that valuable. You just don't care about them at a certain point. The treasure goblins here are much more rare, and they drop you stuff that's a little bit more valuable. So I thought that felt a lot better. I would like to see them add different kinds of goblins, though, especially ones, you know, in Diablo 3 that open a rainbow portal or open a cow portal or a vault. If they've got stuff like that planned, I think it's going to be a really nice touch.
It's way more exciting. I remember I killed a treasure goblin and I got 37 gold. Not a good time.
The game. Another thing that I think is better in Diablo 4 than compared to the other previous Diablo games is treasure chests. Treasure chests in general, I think, have better loot than I've seen in the previous games.
Yeah, well, you want to open them. And also, I think the reason why treasure chests stand out more is that they are more visible. It's easier to see them because like everything else is really dark, and the treasure chests are like woo. So yeah, I think that treasure chests look even better, especially whenever they're like, you know, the juxtaposition between, you know, the super dark area and there's like one fucking resplendent chest. It's like, oh my god. Yeah, I think that's a good thing, by the way. It's fucking great. So yeah, I'm happy to see the treasure chests have a little bit more value.
And another thing,
I hope they add a third tier of rarity for treasure chests, like legendary treasure chests or something like that. I think that'd be really cool.
About the loot is, or another thing about treasure chests is they can spawn events. The treasure chest itself can be cursed, which spawns an event, which essentially changes what you thought was going to happen. And anytime that happens in the game, I think it's an advantage. Like
after you kill the first 5 waves, I think every wave after that should spawn an elite. Like, I don't want to just kill a bunch of fucking waves and non-elites. Like, and also, like, if it, for whatever reason, like, if that's not possible, then why is it to where, like, every level doesn't spawn, like, it doesn't make the elites that spawn at the end more powerful, or it doesn't make more elites at the end spawn? Because, like, imagine if you clear, like, 20 waves, and, like, the timer runs out, and you have 20 fucking elites spawn all out of nowhere. That would be badass. We need more badass moments in the game. Like, in the same as, like, remember in Reaper of Souls when they added the treasure goblin groups? There's, like, 30 treasure goblins. Shit like that.
Health pool thing. I walked up to a health pool, clicking it, just thinking it was going to give me my health and refresh my potion charges. Nope, a big elite monster spawns and starts attacking me. And I'm like, okay, well, actually that was kind of cool. I wanted to heal myself and you just screwed me, but I actually kind of like that. So I think they're taking some of the previous things in Diablo games and making it and improving on it a little bit. To some people, they might say, well, that's just the same shit rehashed. It's stupid. And
it is the same shit rehashed. But I like hash. Like, my mom used to make me corned beef hash all the time. It's really good. I don't have a problem with rehashed. Only if it's good. Just heat it up before then.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. That's not an incorrect statement. But a little bit of the tiny details, to me, actually look a lot better when you play these games all the time. Yeah. So I do think it's a little bit better. I do like the hidden quests. If you try to complete a lot of the side quests, even in the first zone, if you just walk around and pick up every side quest, you complete like 29 of 35 of them. Yeah. The other 6, you got to just go out and fight and get the quest to drop, the quest item to drop, which lets you do the side quest. It's kind of like the old World of Warcraft trick, or, you know,
it's like Lost Ark.
Been used in other games. But I like the fact that you have to go out there and kind of earn the full completion. You can't just go to town, pick up the side quests, quickly do them, and be done. You got to kind of wonder, all right.
I agree with this. I think that Lost Ark's adventure journal and adventure guide, everything like that, I think it is absolutely S tier, and I'm glad to see Diablo 4 copying it.
Which ones am I missing here, and how do I actually finish this? I think it adds a little bit of longevity to the game. I like the Altars of Lilith. Some people hate it. Some people love it. It's kind of like the Final Fantasy thing where you walk into a town, you walk into every single building, you check every nook and cranny, you look behind.
No, you don't. No, you don't. What do you mean? You're going to look, bro, you go to the website. You go to the website. You just go to the website, look at the different things, you click on the stuff, and it is what it is. I think the Altars of Lilith are really cool, too. However, I think they're going to be cool the first time the game comes out. If you make me re-click these every fucking season, I'm probably going to skip a season at a certain point because I don't want to do a bunch of fucking chores I already did before.
Bookshelf, da-da-da-da-da. Is there a secret here? I like running around looking for these little statues. Yeah. I think it's a lot of fun. It's horizontal progression, but really it's not because it also gives you permanent stats to your entire account. and it boosts up your renown. So
it's literally the exact same as Lost Ark. Like they took the Lost Ark Adventure Journal and they just copied it exactly. Imagine, bro. Imagine after every imagine if they bring out Volton in Lost Ark, and it's like Volton fucking because he came down from what's it called, Petrania, the demon world. Whenever he came down, he did like a fucking earthquake. And it shook up all the Mokoko seeds, and you have to get them again. And nah, they're in the same spot, but you just have to go and click them all again. Nah, bro, like I don't think so. Yeah, you got to get your Tukey Beast Heart again. Fuck that.
Kind of important, actually. People were complaining, well, on seasons, are they going to reset it? Are we going to have to find this every time?
Yeah,
and
that's
the answer
dumb.
is absolutely. When you reset a season, you wipe everything. But I think people...
Nah, you don't have to. I don't agree with that. I think that you don't have to reset the long-term progression. I absolutely don't think so. It's like everything that we know about ARPGs should be up for debate. I don't want to be in a situation where we are adhering to something because the previous games adhered to it. Let's do something interesting and good rather than just follow the status quo.
People are underestimating. You'll get really good at finding these altars once you get used to it. Unless Blizzard is going to be so five-head that they move the altars every single season. If they move around, that's going to be crazy.
That's even worse. Like, there's no outcome in my mind that's not tilting where Altars of Lilith have to get farmed every single season. Like, that's tilting, and it's stupid, and it's pointless, no matter what.
Maybe they'll do that, maybe they won't. Strongholds are kind of the new thing in Diablo 4 where it's like major corruption in an area. You have to go do all these tasks to free them. And then
I think strongholds are cool.
It actually permanently changes the map.
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe it turns into a town. Maybe it unlocks a dungeon. Maybe it gives you a waypoint. Yeah, maybe all three. I have no idea. I find these to be very fun. I find these to really work. Yeah. And you walk into a stronghold that's level 30, unless you're like a super overpowered build or you're just tricked out and really nice legendary powers. You're probably not going to be able to complete it. It's just difficult. So you'd be like, all right, I better mark that one later and come back and clear it up, and it just gives me...
Yeah, the difficulty of strongholds, I think, is really compelling. It gives casual players that they're just a little bit of a push to go a little bit harder.
Massive renown, so it's very rewarding to do it. I think they've hit that very well. The Butcher, did you see my YouTube videos on the Butcher? First him murdering me, and then me murdering him. And by the way, people are talking shit about me, saying that I can't kill him in solo. I murdered Butcher in solo after that. I'm just not going to upload every single Butcher kill I get to YouTube, unless you want me to. He just ran.
Not that hard to do. I've seen plenty of people kill him like that.
Random spawn in dungeons, and he is terrifying. If you don't, if you're not ready for him, if you don't have a good build, if you're a casual player, he is going to slaughter you.
Yes, he will.
And they even put some mechanics in where he doesn't last forever. He's gonna leave after a certain period of time. So you can't like bug him out all the time. Can't get him stuck on a door. Can't find like the perfect opportunity. And that's even if you can survive that long. Those surprises, again, kind of like what I said earlier with the treasure chests and the health pools, they're really nice.
Yeah, the Butcher is a very good improvement on the game. Like, I absolutely think so. If he is, like, while leveling, I feel like he's a little bit too strong, but especially once you start hitting, like, different thresholds and, like, where your character is actually pretty good, like, I think the Butcher is fucking awesome. Like, having the Butcher spawn on you at, like, level 14, like, it's like, okay, right? Like, maybe it's good, maybe it's not. But I think, like, guaranteed 50 plus, oh, it's fucking badass.
The story, the voice acting, and the cutscenes, I've heard that these are amazing. I don't ever watch any of these, so I guess I'll just trust you on that one.
They were great.
The world, the environment, and the art direction. I think in general, people really like that. It does feel dark and gloomy. There's a lot of
people complain that it's all the same. Of course it is. It's the same zone. It's like if you play World of Warcraft and you only are able to play Elwyn Forest, and you're like, bro, Like, where's the desert? Like, it's just a fucking the whole game, like, World of Forests? Forest of Warcraft? Like, what is this?
Details, if you're willing to zoom in and pay attention to them. When you're walking through the thin snow, you have light footprints. When the snow gets deeper, you're literally like, trudging through the snow.
Yeah, come on. Let's just cut the bullshit. You're talking about drawing dicks into snow, right? Yeah, we know about that. Oh, we know all about that. Speaking of that, can we get one of those pinned messages about Starforge for today?
I mean, even I don't really pay attention to that stuff too much, but that was pretty incredible. So they did a nice job there. Even I noticed. The world bosses, we've only fought one of them. I liked a lot of things about the world boss. There are some bugs, how the weekly cash gets paid out, how you can kill her multiple times, this and that and this and that, how you can let low-level people go in there and ruin it. But the fight itself seemed fairly well tuned. When we first started fighting her with like some under-geared players, I killed her with 1 second left the first time. It's a 15-minute timer.
Oh my god.
And then as you learn her attacks, you can start to mitigate a lot of her damage.
Yeah.
So you feel like once you build a mastery with the world bosses, you die a lot less, whereas in the beginning I died many, many times learning her like swipey wing attack.
Yeah, I think the swipey wing attack is kind of fucking annoying. The only thing that I really don't like about the wing attack is that the debuff that it puts on you afterwards, the poison or whatever, it's not immediately evident that you're being poisoned. And I wish there was a better indicator, like in Diablo 3, there was an indicator, it was like right here on like the other side of your spell bar. And it would show you all the debuffs, so you could like mouse over them and be like, oh, I got a debuff, I died. I'm generally not a fan. I think it's okay to have settings like that not available at the beginning. At default, but I do think that experienced players and people that want that extra level of information should be able to enable that. I am always probably an advocate of more information if the player opts into it.
And it felt very rewarding to kill her. So I think there's just a lot of things there that are working. A lot of people are complaining that it's at fixed times. I don't know how they're going to do it on live, but I would like a little bit more freedom on when to kill them. But the actual design of the
exactly. And I also want to say, people say you can use poison pot, whatever. Like, I don't care really about the damage. I care about because I assume that the damage and the way that players are killing these bosses, it is not what people will do whenever the game comes out. It's not the way it will work whenever the game comes out. Because people will be higher level, they'll have more resources, they'll have more potions, and it just won't function the same way whenever the game actually gets released, because not everybody's going to be level 25. So I'm not that worried about the number that the damage does. I'm worried about the way that it's described.
Boss itself seemed pretty good. That goes for the bosses in general across the game. The bosses that I've seen felt unique, and they had their own, little quirks to them about how you had to learn to fight them. The problem with the bosses is that they're being pasted in too many times, in too many dungeons. Oh, I've seen this boss like 6 times. So it's not the boss design itself that I have a problem with. That part I think is good. It's the reusing of it that gets annoying.
Yeah, a lot of pretty much like I can't speak for Last Epoch again. I haven't played it. PoE, I mean, like Brutus is the boss in like 2 or 3 different dungeons. There's like the bear boss, Grakthul. I think that you fight Grakthul and then also a bear that effectively does the same thing. Like, and also in Lost Ark, there's a lot of reused bosses as well. So this is extremely common.
We talked about this already, the random events. You want to click a pylon? Nope, here comes a wave of 5 monsters. You want to drink this health pool? Nope, here you get ambushed by an elite. All those little crazy things that I wasn't expecting. I love that. I thought the side quests were good. Nothing too special about these. Side quests are in most games, but I thought theirs were pretty good. I enjoyed doing them. I found them not too buggy. You could go right to them, complete them, and you get the renown. Can't ask for much more than that. Character customization, this is another thing I spent no time doing, but people said that they loved it, so there's that.
Character customization was like the fidelity of the characters is phenomenal. It's great, but the truth is that Diablo Immortal had better character customization than Diablo 4. If you don't believe me, download it and try it. Hopefully you guys have phones.
I did plug in a controller and I played on PC. I gotta tell you, it went way better than I expected. I've never played, well, that's not true. I played Diablo for a few hours on the Switch, so I have played Diablo on controller before. Plugged in my Xbox controller. I didn't set any settings. I just plugged it in and I started playing. Worked perfectly. And I was surprised at how well I could play. And I asked the chat.
There's a lot of people who said that now that controller support is enabled for Diablo 4, they don't want to go back to keyboard and mouse.
The controller that tried it. Is it really as good as I think it is? And they all said yes. So you would expect it to be that good because they also made it for Xbox and PlayStation, right?
Yeah.
So it should be good. But
I thought about like adding a video. Like I do think that click to move is an inferior way of playing video games. Just very simply, it is an inferior way to WASD in like 99% of circumstances, and it requires way too much action for way too little reward. I think that if every game had WASD, it would be better.
I was surprised. It was pretty nice.
I've thought about making
a video. And this is going to be a debated thing, but this is my feedback, so I'm just going to tell you what I think. I like the pace of this game. I like that it's slower. I like that it's not Diablo 3, mindless, brain dead, move at 10,000 miles an hour through the rift in 90 seconds, killing 500 monsters. And you're just blowing.
I think we're going to get to that point with Diablo 4 as well. It's just that Act 1 in Diablo 3, you weren't doing that either.
Through it. I like the slower pace, more tactical fighting.
Yeah.
I just think it's better.
I do think that I hope the devs of Diablo 4 have been paying attention to like PoE and the Arch Nemesis stuff that happened, because this was a problem that PoE did, is that PoE had extremely fast zoom gameplay, and then the players got so used to that, and whenever they tried to slow people down, I think this happened a lot, and it was the League, I think, after or before Ritual, and then they did it again with Arch Nemesis, that players resented it a lot. So don't let people go fast and then slow them down.
I'm sure as we get better builds, we'll get a lot faster and more powerful, but I like this pace a lot better. I just think it's better for the game. Some will disagree. We'll see the hate in the YouTube comments, but I'm just telling you what I think. Now let's look at some of the problems. Like, I think these are problems with the game that Blizzard just needs to fix, and there's a lot of them. And I'm not gonna read 36 paragraphs here, but let's go through these quickly. Binding scroll wheel. People use this a lot. I wanted to use this for evade. People wanted to use it for force move. It doesn't work. Got to fix that.
Yeah, no reason.
Low-level players entering the world boss zone just strictly griefing. They can't contribute. They can't do any damage. They die in one hit. And you can only have 12 people for a world boss. They're taking the slot of a player that could help you. A lot of people failed the boss fight. They just didn't have the damage.
Yeah, I agree with this. I think that allowing low-level players that get one-shot by a world boss is not a big deal. But the reason why it's a big deal in Diablo 4 is because the instance and area is locked to 12 players. Nobody wants to have 10 people there doing a world boss, struggling at it, and they see 2 people that are under-geared or under-leveled. For example, Lost Ark solves this problem by having item-level requirements on fighting different world bosses. Diablo 4 should implement this as well, or they should make the people that aren't part of that cap not able to do damage to the boss and not able to get rewards.
Gotta find a way to fix that. There is a lot of dungeon backtracking. They just need to look at it and find a solution.
Someone says more MMO mechanics? Yes, absolutely. I think that Diablo 4 embracing MMO mechanics is good. I am a fan of that, and I hope PoE 2 does that as well. I'm not saying that PoE 2 needs to have 40-man raids. I'm saying that it would be nice if PoE 2 there was a shared area that players could post up at, like a town, and you could inspect people. That's it. I'm not saying that you need to have a raid to do Shaper. Just a few cool things.
100 different solutions you could use. I'm not going to list them all. They need to find a way to minimize this.
Yeah.
Memory leaks and performance issues. Remember up here when I said my 3080 was literally being torched?
Again, 3080s had a unique problem with this game.
They need to fix that. Now, the chain crowd controls are rough. Now, let's talk about this for a second. You want crowd control to be punishing to the player. You want it to be punishing for many reasons. First of all, you want the elites to be scary, and that just improves, again, the tactical play. And you also want elites to have very powerful crowd control because you want the affix unstoppable to matter. You want to gain unstoppable through your build somehow.
I am not a fan of that on a fundamental level. I don't like the idea that the reason why you want crowd control is because Blizzard has put in a build, has put in something, and now you have to overcome this issue. Would the game be better if there were no crowd control and no unstoppable? I think that should be a question that Blizzard should take seriously. Every time that there is a system, like basically some parasitic system that's added into the game just to force players into interfacing with a new stat or something like that, I generally think this is a bad idea. In New World, there were a number of these mistakes as well. And I also think that CC is not the only way you can make elites more interesting. I think that this is and I think, he knows this, right? It's just, this is one way you can make them more interesting. I don't like chain CC. I think getting CC'd once is fine. Getting CC'd twice is not.
How, if you can, and it increases the value of that stat.
Yeah,
I understand all these things and I get it. The thing that I have a problem with is the chain crowd controls that the game currently allows. Yeah. You can eat like a 5-second stun into another 5-second freeze, it feels like, into another 5-second stun.
Yeah.
You literally can take your hands off the keyboard. You have no control over your guy, and you die. You can say things like, Rax, play better. Rax, take a skill to improve it. Guys, I don't need help.
It should not be a possibility for that to occur. That should not be possible. It's just bad. Why put a frustrating outcome into a game? Why not make it harder in a way that's more reactive?
Like, I'll clear the whole game max level easily on every character. Don't worry about me. I think currently the chaining of crowd controls is a bit extreme.
That's what sucks.
So what I would ask them to look at is maybe the diminishing returns to the player on chained crowd controls in quick succession. Because I had several deaths.
Yeah, there's no reason for that to happen. It just doesn't improve the experience for anybody, and I think it actively makes a lot of other people's experience a lot worse. So it's like, why is this good that it's in the game when at best it's a neutral? Like, nobody gets chain CC'd and they say, wow, I'm having a lot of fun. However, there are probably a lot of people that get chain CC'd and say, wow, I'm not having a lot of fun.
Where I was just, I pulled a lot of elites, okay, I pulled the whole dungeon, I'm going to burn them all down. Maybe that's not the way they want me to play. But they put me in one CC, and I was CC'd till death.
Yeah,
I'm not on a weak character. I can take some hits, but you just never let me play my character again, and I died. It's one thing they should look at.
Yeah, it's just
let us zoom out further in the skill.
Like, it sucks in WoW, it sucks in Overwatch, it sucks in PoE. The thing is, in PoE, there's a lot of ways to get to, like, turn it off, but, like, PoE is also, like, way more nuanced in that. And even that, like, maybe they should rethink that for PoE too. I don't know. But it sucks in every game. I've never played a game where getting chain CC'd is fun or makes the game more interesting. Every single time that there's a game where that can happen to you, it makes it less fun.
And impossible in the actual game. Would just like to see more. I can't see the full build, and I'd like to see more of the screen. There are invisible walls in dungeons. I can give them specific examples if they want. So annoying. You're walking forward and it's like Harry Potter walking through platform 9 3/4.
Yeah.
Let us TP to party members without going to town first. This is something that I gave them feedback on very early, and they improved it, but I would like them to just let us TP to party members. You can already do it, but you have to go to town first, and then you have to click on their portal. Please, don't make...
This is another thing. I feel like sometimes Blizzard makes the game worse because they're afraid that a handful of people will exploit the game. I think that in almost every single circumstance, it's better for the game to give people the ability to do something that can be a little bit cheesy because it's just better quality of life for everybody else. Is it worth making millions of people experience worse because 135 of them are exploiting some teleport thing? Probably not.
You go to town to go to my friends. Just let me TP on them straight away. Character order button doesn't work. Fix it. Drop rates are too high. Oh, man. This is going to...
3-hour queue time? What do you mean? There's a queue? What do you mean there's a queue? Okay. Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna work. It's not open yet. It's fake. It'll reset at 10. I have no idea. Like, I don't think... How do you know it's gonna reset at 10? You have no idea.
This is going to be a contested one. And then people are going to say, Brax, you're so stupid for saying drop rates are too high in a beta. It's a beta. Guys, let's make some assumptions. Let's assume that there are no buffed beta drop rates. So they're just normal. And then let's assume that our builds are going to get stronger. They are. They are, for sure.
Yeah, they did confirm that the drop rates are artificially inflated for the beta. The literal game director said this.
Your clear speed is going to go up. It will. And then at the higher difficulties, there's way higher difficulties than veteran, you're going to get more loot. Yeah. These things are guaranteed. When that happens, the amount of loot you're going to get is going to go up only. It's just going to go up. And already at level 25, when I clear a 25 dungeon, my inventory is almost completely full. One dungeon. Full of blues, full of yellows. I'm not even talking about legendaries. I'm just talking about items in general. There's just so much
too much
shit that drops. My inventory's full.
Yeah.
And it's so annoying to have to, if you're one of those people like to pick everything up, to have to salvage every time you do a freaking dungeon. I'm not even asking them to nerf the overall wealth that you build while playing the game. If you drop the drop rates, you can certainly drop the costs of things if you want to compensate for it. That's fine. But
it's inflated, point invalid. No, what's inflated is the unique drop rate. Unique and like rare legendary item drop rate. The amount of items that drop, as far as I know, is not inflated. It's the legendaries are increased. He's talking about the rares.
But to make sure that I wasn't crazy, I did a poll, and I'll be completely honest with you. The first poll that I did, it was 68 to 32. So I did the poll again to see if we could get 69, and we did. So I thought that would be a better screenshot. So here we are. Okay. 69% of people thought that the drop rates are too high. Play the beta. Tell me what you think. Get to 25. Do a dungeon. Do you think you just got too many items?
I think you get way too many items for not having a loot filter or not having a way to determine which items are good or bad. I don't want to have the situation where we're at the highest tier of Diablo 4 world and we clear a dungeon and like 7 legendaries drop or something like that. I think that's kind of cheesy and it's overwhelming. That should be something that's only, you know, for like world bosses and like really, really like big rewards.
I do. That's definitely how I feel. I don't want I say casual like it's a negative term. I don't mean it as a negative term. I don't want any people out there that aren't going to play too much, that don't have a lot of playtime, to feel like I'm reporting this to ruin your experience. I just genuinely think you're going to be spending way too much time salvaging shitty yellows in town rather than just playing the damn game, which is way more fun.
There should be a way to filter yellows based off of the amount of affixes they have. So, like, especially whenever you get to high level, you're only really going to care about 4 and 5 affix yellows. You should never have to see, and like, to be honest, I'm talking about the 5s only. I don't want to see any 4s. I don't want to even imagine that a 3 could exist on my screen. I want to only see 5s, and that's it.
So is going to make it much more worthwhile when a legendary drops. If a legendary drops every 5 minutes, in 2 hours, you don't care when a legendary drops anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
But if only one drops every 2 hours, then when one drops, you feel like $1 million.
Yep.
Know what I mean? Drop rates are too high. You're never going to change my mind about it. 69% of chat thought so as well, but it was actually 68. Let us skip all conceits and NPC dialogue. This is a huge complaint, not just from me, from a ton of people. Please let us skip it.
I think there's probably too much dialogue in certain cases. I don't know how to deal with that problem. I don't know how to solve that in the right way.
This is a big problem. When you re-rolling at the occultist, you can't see what's possible. I was trying to put thorns on every piece for my thorns barb. I had no idea which pieces rolled thorns. Had no way to know. So I just randomly guessed, re-rolling all pieces, lost all my gold. This literally happened to me.
Yeah, this happens also with like different types of +1 to spells. Certain items can roll +1 to certain spells, but it's not indicated in the game. Any time that a player has to use a third-party resource to learn something on the game is a bad time. It's silly to make somebody, hey, play this Gamba feature, but if you want to know what you should Gamba, you should go online and read a fucking spreadsheet. It's stupid. There should be a way for you to figure this out in-game.
Prevent multiple world boss kills. When you kill a Shava, if you have a really good group, you kill her in a few minutes, you can go to town and port to another instance of a Shava, kill her, port to town, kill her another time. I've killed her 3 times in one 15-minute span. Got to prevent this. It's going to bust the game.
I don't think it'll bust the game, but it's obviously something that everybody is going to do if they can do it. It's silly. It's not intended. Yes, this is like after you kill a world boss once, you should have like a loot lock for an hour.
This is really complicated. Not going to explain it. Blizzard will read it, hopefully. Fix it, Blizzard. Let's skip that one. Item stats should have a hierarchy on the item itself. When you're comparing 2 items, it looks like the affixes that roll on the items appear in a random order. If it's not random, then however they have it set up is really bad. Because they should order it. Here are the plus to skills. Here are the plus the main stats.
He's right about this for sure. Like, it should have the main stat buffs at the top, and then the other stuff below that.
The other offensive or defensive categories. They need to have a hierarchy for it so you can compare it really easily. I feel like I'm looking everywhere and it takes forever to compare items. Notifications for important events, like Lost Ark has this. You can set, I want to know this island, this thing, this thing. Notify me when that happens, and that's it.
Yeah, there's no reason not to have a calendar, and a calendar to give you updates when world bosses or other events are going to happen. It takes away nothing from the game.
I think that will be important for this game. WASD movement or WASD. People want this. Please add it. Okay, now here's one. Transmogs. You guys care about transmogs, right? How you look. Currently, the way that you earn a transmog is you find an item and then you have to salvage it. Why? Why do I have to salvage it?
I think this is, again, Blizzard that is... They are like over... They're being overprotective of people like, oh my god, what if one person gets a piece of gear and then they trade it to somebody else and then they get the transmog, so you have like 2 items. It's just nuts. It's up. Okay, well, it'll be up for me in 4 minutes. We'll see what happens. Yeah, it's just like they're anti-min-maxers, yes. And this is, again, you're so anti-min-maxing that you end up hurting casual players. Yeah, that's what the problem really is.
If you extract it, you don't get the transmog. And why do I have to destroy it to get the transmog?
Yeah, exactly. It's just stupid and pointless. I know there's some people who are not fans of WASD movement. If you don't want WASD movement in Diablo 4, you're stupid. I've read every single argument against it. Every single one of them is stupid. If you think that, you're stupid. There's that's nothing. That's it.
Diablo 3, all you have to do is find it. Why do we have to destroy the item to look like the item if we found it? It makes absolutely no sense to me.
I think it's a vestige of the Warcraft system where items have to be in one way or another soulbound to a player before the item becomes transmoggable by that player. So I think they just applied the same philosophy to the Diablo 4 transmog as well.
Tip errors, especially offhands on a sorcerer, it tells you that this new one is better. It's not. I have many examples. It's just strictly wrong. Let us track multiple.
Yeah, the plus minus, like, don't have a plus minus tooltip if it's wrong. Like, if you can't correctly, if you can't show what the plus minus is in terms of like percentage or whatever, then that's it. I don't want to see it. Yeah, it's like Diablo 3 did a good job with this, but most other games did not. Okay. What's this here? Don't pay people, Zach. All HNSs? I don't know what HNSs is. Diablo 4 needs WASD movement. Every single person who's provided any argument of why it's bad is a moron. The arguments are stupid. And there's no logical conclusion to them that is different than it was like this before, so it should be like this. You're just stupid. It's not even worth taking seriously.